information because there's so much going on. America's Heroes Group Roundtable Veterans Court with Judge Hooks, Attorney Lori Roper, and Attorney Brian Scanlon. And we are pleased always to have them. Let's introduce, I think it's funny to say we're going to introduce these people because they're with us so often. Lori Roper, how are you?
I am good, Cliff. How are you?
Good. Thank you for being with us. For those who don't remember her title, Lori is the Cook County Attorney Supervisor in the problem-solving courts at 26 in California. And that's a heck of a job. And you do it so well, don't you?
Thank you. Yes, I do. Yes, I do it. And I do it on behalf of the people of Cook County as well as our beloved veterans.
Thank you so much. Also joining us, Brian Scanlon, who is the Cook County Attorney Assistant Public Defender. Counselor, how are you?
Excellent, Cliff. How are you doing?
Good.
I really appreciate you having me on the show and having me have the ability to serve the public.
Well, listen, I think it's great that you're doing that. This is just a great thing. Lori's been on before. Brian, why don't you tell us what you are actually, tell us what you do, your job.
Well, excellent. We work directly with Lori and Judge Hooks, and we also have our guest today from the Problem Solving Court. But what we do is we reach out to veterans, and we really try to see people in crisis, clean up their lives, thank them for their dedication, and return them to society as a whole person.
That makes such a difference, doesn't it?
Oh, yes. And the resources we have now, as we'll learn today, that we are in constant, even though court isn't up, we are in constant contact with our veterans. If something happens, for happy or sad, I reach out to Lori. I reach out to, say, Carmen, who's one of our veteran service providers, even Judge Hooks. We've learned recently with, sadly, the tragic loss of one of our guys on the Red Line, that case. And we've kept Lori in the fold. We are not stopping until we put this veteran in, properly, rested.
Yeah, that is so important. What you folks do, it's just a great thing. I'm just so happy that you do that and that you come on and talk about it. By the way, if you want to talk to one of these wonderful public servants, the WVON call-in number is 312-374-8130.
And I'd like to say, Cliff, today I reached out to the media public relations person at Jesse Brown, and they put your show on their Facebook page for veterans to call in and find out about benefits today.
Oh, that'll be great. Well, thank you for doing that. We certainly appreciate it. That's good. Thank you, Brian. Let's go to Carmen. Carmen Ramirez, licensed clinical social worker, veteran justice specialist, and program supervisor at Jesse Brown VA since 2010. Hi, how you doing?
Hi, I'm well, thank you, and thank you for having me on your show today.
You're more than welcome. Tell us about what you do.
Oh, I would love to. So, at Jesse Brown VA, we have a program that's called the Veterans Justice Program. This program consists of two programs that serve the needs of veterans across the spectrum, from initial contact with law enforcement to release from prison. And we also include prevention. Our mission is to locate justice-involved veterans that have not accessed treatment services and connect them to VA health care. We will ensure access to exceptional care tailored to each individual's needs. So how do we complete our mission? Well, first, let me define our target population. It's a veteran with active ongoing or recent contact with some component of the criminal justice system. So the veteran can be anywhere on the continuum of the involvement with the criminal justice system, or a combination. So a veteran who has not accessed VA health care or is not currently engaged in treatment services and has unmet needs.
This is good. This is great. And by the way, I want to remind our callers, or our listeners, I should say, that you can talk to any of our great guests simply by dialing 312-374-8130. 312-374-8130. That's good. Now we also want to talk to Melissa. Melissa, tell us what you do.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
I'm sorry, I didn't mention your last name.
And as Carmen said,
Melissa, pardon me, I didn't mention your last name. Montalvo?
Montalvo.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay.
Thank you all so much for having me. And as Carmen said, the VJP program is two programs in one. My role is the HCRV, which stands for Healthcare for Reentry Veterans. And I work with veterans that are in the prison, jail, and halfway houses. And it's three components to HCRV. One is the outreach piece, which assists incarcerated veterans with verifying their eligibility, their enrollment in VA healthcare services, and or updating their existing info in VHA system, just so that they can be seen once they are released. And then the assessment piece is done while they are incarcerated. I would do a face-to-face assessment with them, and that's just to ensure that the appropriate referrals and linkages are made based on what their needs are. That can be, it ranges from medical, mental health, employment, substance abuse, legal, medical, mental health, and just kind of basic needs, like are they going to need SNAP upon release, or what's going to be, the transportation situation. And we're very fortunate in Chicago to have our Community Resource and Referral Center, also known as the CRRC. And the CRRC's goal is just to provide veterans who are at risk of homelessness, as well as homeless vets, with kind of a one-stop shop approach to various multi-agency services that just promote kind of like what the VA does: permanent housing, health, mental health care, employment, and some access to non-VA benefits. And then the third piece is just short-term case management. I follow up with them to ensure that they are, well connected to whatever they identified as their needs were, as mentioned earlier, whether substance abuse, legal, basic, mental health, to ensure that they do have a successful reentry back into community. And that's our role, my role.
Yeah. It'd be easier to ask you what you don't do, right? I just think it's great that these services are available, to
absolutely.
To all four of you. It's just.
Well, Cliff, do you know that Carmen and I work the courtroom together with Judge Hooks?
I'm sorry?
Carmen and I work together in the courtroom. Yeah. We have the face-to-face, hands-on experience with our clients.
Isn't that something? And I think you might know that I do know Judge Hooks.
Yeah,
he's a great guy. He's a great.
Yeah, he provides a safe environment for our clients. As Carmen can tell us, we have a graduation coming up, and great. I think we're doing the best we can during this COVID crisis.
We want to talk about that too. Tell us about the graduation. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Carmen, would you like to tell a little bit from your perspective?
Sure. Mm-hmm. So we get referrals from the state's attorney's office. We then assess their needs. We assess everything based on starting with medical. We if they need residential treatment or if they need outpatient treatment, whatever type of treatment that they may need. And so we get very close with our veterans and throughout these 2 years that they're in the program. And by the time that they're ready for graduation, they're usually either permanently housed, they're employed or receiving some entitlements from the VA, and we just see their whole life turn around, and they're excited and they're healthy and they're ready for graduation. And once they graduate from this program, that means that they completed all of the requirements for probation. They've been compliant. They've completed most of their treatment. And then we have a really nice graduation for them. We're still trying to figure out how we're going to have this graduation because it may be virtual. So they're just really excited about it. They have a positive interaction and relationship with judges, which, a lot of them have never gotten any positive feedback from a judge, much less have a judge give you positive feedback every 2 weeks and every month, and then have legal counsel that is on your side and that is also advocating always for you and giving positive incentives. So our graduations are very impactful and just very life-changing for our veterans.
I would imagine so, Carmen. That's just great. How long is it, the graduations? How long have you been doing that?
I've been in this position for 4 years now.
Okay.
And so we have a graduation twice a year.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually the veterans have participated in this program for 2 years. Sometimes if they do exceptional, they may graduate within 18 months.
That's excellent.
And the goal of this program is that they will never be involved in the criminal justice system again, because we have met all of the needs that have kept them in this cycle of their addiction or their unmet needs. And so we have seen just great success from this program.
That sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. To make sure these folks not only don't return, but they do things that are positive. Let me ask any of you, we've got some great folks here, Melissa, Carmen, Brian, and Lori. We've got this major health problem that's going on, of which I speak, of course. Anybody want to comment on how that impacts?
Well, I'd like to say that, with Lori and I, we and Carmen
now, who was
particularly, we focused on getting anybody who was in Cook County Jail out into a safe place
this is Brian,
as
right?
fast as we could. And I'd like to say, and if Lori could back me up with Carmen, maybe then Melissa, that we don't have any veterans in the Cook County Jail right now that we know of.
You don't have any veterans in the Cook County Jail?
Not in our program.
Oh, in the program. I got you.
Not in the program, and not any veteran that had a nonviolent charge and a nonviolent history. We worked with the jail staff to ensure that we had a plan of release for them from the beginning. What was it, maybe 30 days ago that this started? We were proactive in making sure that we had the names and the contact information of those veterans, and that they were released into the community and getting the care that they needed.
And yes, and Cliff,
yeah.
The great thing about that is that, as you can hear from Carmen, how the support of the VA is just so important for our clients, and even in this particular crisis, as well as other crises. For instance, Carmen can elaborate on this. But recently, as Brian mentioned earlier in the show, that we did have one of our veterans who was tragically killed at the Red Line train, and that gentleman there, I believe Carmen, and the team at 26 in California with Judge Hooks, they have been feverishly trying to assist this gentleman's family in putting him to rest. So, Carmen, if you could comment on that a little.
Sure, yes. So one of the great things about this collaboration is that we communicate and we get ahead of things as soon as it's happening. And so as soon as I was notified by our state's attorney that this had occurred, I think the judge had informed her. We right away got in touch with the family and offered the VBA, our benefits person. He provided the family with all of the burial information and any services and entitlements that they are eligible for. The young man was a combat veteran, so whatever the entitlements that he earned, our benefits person was able to assist him with making sure that the family had everything that they needed.
That's just great.
Great.
Yeah, it is.
I want to piggyback on that and
Please.
not speak to that specific, but just kind of the collaboration between just the VA and, Cook County, and Brian and Lori, even though I haven't met you all. I just think that collaborating and effective communication, that just offers tremendous benefits to these veterans that are being, released or being seen for us for treatment, and it ensures that they have that linkage so that they won't fall through the cracks. So I think this collaboration is just wonderful, and it really, really does a huge benefit to our veterans.
Well, it certainly does, and I just think it's great. And of course, I know Judge Hooks. I've known him for years, and I know that with him being the lead guy and all the folks I have talked to with this group, it shows you that you folks are really doing a great job with helping. Yeah.
I would just like to ask Melissa, when our veterans get released from the Illinois Department of Corrections, is there any procedures to help them if they've never been exposed to this COVID, or what do we do for them if they are released?
Good point.
That's a good question. A lot of the prisons right now, they are still going through with their regular releases. They haven't announced any early releases due to the COVID that I am aware of. But IDOC staff is ensuring that they do have a safe and stable place to be released to. They aren't, that I am aware of, releasing them just out into the community without a set plan in place. So that's one thing that, a lot of people were afraid of. Are they just going to get released? That I am aware of, they're not being released just out without a set, stable, secure housing plan.
Could they go to Jesse Brown if they were released to get a checkup or something?
So a lot of the IDOC facilities, we only cover, in our catchment area, we only cover 3.
Okay.
And Hines actually covers those prisons. It's Dixon, Sheridan, and Stateville. But if they did need medical care, then they would obviously be because they are coming from coming from prison. They're considered high risk. So we surely wouldn't turn them away. So our team, our sister VA Hines, they have a VJP team as well. And I believe it's the same process that VA would have. We would screen them and see what kind of services they need, and if they did need medical, mental health, we would link them to those appropriate services upon release.
Oh.
That sounds great. And Melissa, just to be clear, that any veteran that had gone to prison, that does not preclude them from tapping into their benefits, such as HUD-VASH and things of that nature?
I'm sorry, what was your question?
I was wondering whether or not the fact that these veterans had gone to prison, would that preclude them from any of the benefits that you were mentioning? such as
No,
like
absolutely
HUD
not. You know, the
like
thing
that?
when veterans are incarcerated, obviously they can't get their service connection benefits, but my role is to go into the prison and meet with these veterans, and once they are out, absolutely they can access all of these services based on their appropriateness, you know, because they need to be out so that they can meet face to face and have a referral to HUD-VASH and get a referral to employment services. Obviously, when they're incarcerated, they can't do this, but my role is to go in there and educate them on these programs. And if they come back and return to the Chicagoland area, then my role is to make sure that they get linked to these services. If they're homeless, okay, here are the programs that the VA offers, and you'll meet with them to do an assessment and see if you're appropriate for them or not. So being incarcerated does not preclude you from these services. Obviously, if you have certain charges, HUD, that's Housing and Urban Development, they do have certain criteria that if you are charged with certain crimes, you won't be eligible. I think it's just two crimes that would preclude you from being eligible for HUD-VASH. But no, being in prison absolutely does not stop you from accessing these services. Obviously, once you get out, yeah, we'll meet with you one-on-one and we get you connected to the services you need.
That's great.
Wonderful.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I'd also like to highlight something that we established because of the Veterans Treatment Court, the specialty court. We are able to have a veteran assessed for their needs, like within that week. Like they don't have to go through the regular process that, you know, anybody else coming into the VA system. So once we get the referral from our Veterans Treatment Court, we start that process right away because we want to get the veteran assessed and started in treatment right away. And so we have been able to cut that time from when we first meet them to their assessment to like 1 day. And so that we're very proud of.
Well, you've got a lot to be proud of. You folks have done some great work. If someone is listening, of course, the call-in number here at WVON is 312-374-8130. But Lon, Brian, Carmen, Melissa, if someone just needs to get something they need to know, but they're not sure who to call, can one of you give us a number?
Carmen, is there a general number?
Yeah, general number. That's great. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Melissa, do you have the number?
We have a general email. That outside that can be accessed by anyone on the outside. It's not an internal email. And that email goes to the whole entire Veterans Justice Program team, which would include Carmen, the other two Veterans Justice Outreach Specialists. The three other Veterans Justice Outreach Specialists, myself, and another member of our team. So I can get you all that if you'd like. I don't know how I can say it.
Go right ahead.
It's CHS. JBV. CHSJB Veterans Justice Program. Again, it's C as in Charlie, H as in House, S as in Samantha, J as in Jesse, B as in Brown, Veterans Justice Program at va.gov. It's monitored by all of us, and so we all get it, and we are really good about responding to it based on the day of our coverage. So somebody will be, if they have a question or just want to comment or whatever, they feel free to email us at that email, and somebody will respond back if they have just like a general inquiry.
That's great. CHS.
And then, Cliff, I think they can call 844-MY-VA-311 for just general information.
Say that again.
I think it's 844-MY-VA-311, and that's just kind of a general number that people can call and get information.
That's great.
And I can also give our Community Resource and Referral Center phone number, and that is 312-569-5750. Again, that's 312-569-5750.
That's 5750. You folks have done a lot of work.
The Community Research and Referral Center, it's a walk-in center, so you don't need an appointment to meet with one of the community providers. And again, the center is kind of like a one-stop shop.
You folks are just great. We're out of time. Thank you so much for all this great information. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Cliff.
Thank
you.
you. All